If you're looking for a vehicle that's extremely competent off-road while retaining great driving dynamics and comfort on-road, chances are you've eyed the Subaru Outback. With its wagon body style coupled with pretty much SUV levels of ground clearance, a fantastic boxer engine, and a state-of-the-art symmetrical AWD system, the Subaru Outback represents the best jack-of-all-trades vehicle on the market. And with the 2025 model year, Subaru has revealed the ultimate version of it. Stay tuned as we take a deeper look at it and better understand how the all-new 2025 Subaru Outback blows away the competition. One of the best engines in the segment. Say what you will about Subarus of old and their faulty head gaskets and hard-to-work-on boxer engines. The newer Subarus have been considered one of the most reliable and honest vehicles on the market, exactly because of the boxer engine. And the units used in the Subaru Outback are the best ones yet. The entry-level engine of the Subaru Outback is a naturally aspirated 2.5-liter Boxer 4, which produces 182 HP and 176 pound-per-foot of torque. This might sound underwhelming, especially with the constant push for overworked turbocharged 4 cylinders that produce 200-plus horsepower. However, you have to remember that a naturally aspirated configuration also brings in a lot of benefits. The first of all is, well, the lack of turbocharger. You don't get forced induction of air into the system, which allows the components of the engine to last quite a bit more. You also don't have to worry about the turbocharger, intercooler, various hoses and pipes, and electronics going bad. And really, why would you ever need more than 180 HP? You aren't going racing, and even if you were, you most certainly wouldn't do that in an estate car with a CVT gearbox. But if you really need that extra oomph, don't worry, Subi's got you covered. The second engine you can get with the Outback is a 2.4-liter turbocharged Boxer 4. Yes, that's the same engine you get from a Subaru WRX, albeit very slightly detuned, producing around 260 HP and 277 pound-per-foot of torque. This allows it to tow up to 3,500 pounds, which is very good for a unibody estate. Heck, even the 2.5 can tow up to 2,700 pounds, which will be more than enough for most. And if that wasn't enough, the Subaru Outback is also a very frugal vehicle for what it is. The Outback, equipped with the 2.5-liter, can do up to 32 mpg, which is high praise for a non-hybrid AWD semi-SUV. The 2.4-liter isn't much worse, as it can do up to 29 mpg, which is okay considering how much power and torque you'll get. But the Boxer engine isn't the only trademark for the Subaru Outback. We'll also need to talk about the best AWD system on the market. There is no substitute for Subaru's symmetrical AWD system, especially not when talking about unibody vehicles and relatively budget-oriented vehicles. This system, which has been Subi's trademark for over 30 years, has been specifically developed alongside the Boxer engine for rally. This meant that it had to be extremely capable off the road, while also retaining all of its qualities and amplifying the driving characteristics on the road too. Now sure, the AW system used today isn't as capable as the ones used on the older Subaru Impreza WRX STIs, but they're still far more capable than the RAV4, Ford Escape, or the Honda CR-V could ever offer. Because the power distribution with this AWD system is 50-50, and because there is no interference from electric motors whatsoever, you get a very reliable and controllable system. Its CVT gearbox is also designed in such a way that it can emulate an 8-speed automatic gearbox, and the car can also recognize when the wheels are having trouble moving and spinning, so it can add or reduce the power to each wheel, allowing for increased capability off-road. In addition to that, because the Outback uses a Boxer engine, its center of gravity is much lower than on regular vehicles, meaning that it has less body roll by default, increasing cornering ability and speed without reducing comfort. When combined with the AWD system, it's easy to see why the Outback is regarded as one of the best handling, most engaging to drive, and one of the most comfortable vehicles in its class. Gosh, Subaru knew what they were doing when they decided to go full AWD on everything, didn't they? Compact SUV pricing, mid-size SUV levels of practicality. Everybody loves a mid-size SUV, as it represents a good combination of practicality, ride quality, and utility. However, not a lot of us have that kind of money to throw at it. Most mid-size SUVs that are worth anything cost upwards of $40,000, with only rare examples, like the Kia Sorento, costing less than that. On the other hand, the Subaru Outback is much cheaper from the get-go, starting at less than $29,000, which is the RAV4's price point. This is incredible if you take into consideration that it comes with AWD as standard, much unlike virtually every single midsize SUV it's up against. In addition to that, its interior space is incredibly generous. First of all, the cargo area is just a little bit less than what the Sorento offers, clocking in at 33 cubic feet, as opposed to the Sorrento's 38 feet. Sure, it's less, but this is an estate car, not an SUV, and where you lose some, you gain some. As because of its smaller overall size, the Outback is much nimbler and more frugal than the Sorento. In addition to that, the interior space is very similar, with the Outback offering a fixed 39.5 inches of interior space, while the Sorento offers a maximum space of 41.7 inches, both of which are more than sufficient for adults and kids alike. However, the Sorento and with it many other midsize SUVs lose the plot when going off-road, as due to its smaller size, lower weight, and superior AWD, the Outback can easily outperform the vast majority of its rivals. Sure, a midsize SUV will always be a more spacious vehicle than a midsize wagon. However, it will also be much more expensive, having a much less refined ride, and in the world of crossover SUVs, be much less capable off-road due to FWD bias, unrefined AWD, and other issues. An upscale interior. It's quite enjoyable to see a vehicle that has a very affordable price but is still very upscale in terms of interior quality. Now, don't get us wrong, the Subaru Outback is no Mercedes S-Class. However, it easily outpaces the Toyota RAV4 and the Ford Escape that are in its price bracket. Sure, the entry-level models aren't exactly the stuff of fantasies in terms of interior quality. They have a lot of scratchy plastics, not a lot of upscale trim pieces, and whatnot. However, for that kind of money, you really can't complain. It's the higher trim levels that are pretty good. You get leatherette wrap door trim and dashboard, a lot of aluminum trim pieces, the seats are very plush and nicely padded, and everything just seems incredibly well built. Unfortunately, the interior layout is a bit dated, especially with that vertical dash integrated screen, and we would have liked physical AC commands instead of a touchscreen. But hey, most of its competition has also transitioned to this kind of design. Plus, it's only logical that the interior is dated looking. It came out nigh on 6 years ago. And since it is such an old car, it's quite miraculous that the Outback, even half a decade later, manages to be incredible value for money. You simply cannot outdo the Outback when it comes down to sheer value for money. You just can't. It is truly the jack of all trades of the automotive world. The entry-level Subaru Outback base starts at $28,895. And for that kind of money, you get steering responsive LED headlights, LED fog lamps, a twin-screen infotainment setup, faux stitching, and soft-touch materials on the dashboard, excellent half-bucket cloth seats, and of course 8.7 inches of ground clearance and AWD. The Premium, which is next in line, comes with an 11.6-inch infotainment screen, dual-zone climate controls, electronically operated driver's seat, faux leather dashboard, aluminum door handles and trim pieces, and a nicer exterior, with better wheels and more color options. You can even change the interior color too, and all this for a price of $31,095. Honestly, this is the best value out of all the trims. The Onyx Edition gets bespoke exterior trim. It gets keyless entry and start, as well as StarTech's water-resistant interior. It also gets a better audio system, hands-free tailgate, and dual-function X mode with hill descent control. But it's pretty expensive. clocking in at $36,105. So we wouldn't exactly go for it. To get the 2.4-liter with it, you'll have to go for the Onyx XT, which is $3K more expensive. This is not worth it, as for the same price, you can get the Outback Wilderness, which gets unique bumpers that allow a better approach angle, taller ride height, and a generally much more overlanding-friendly level of equipment, making it the best off-road trim in the lineup. The Outback Limited, which starts at $37,855, gets leather-trimmed upholstery, higher quality materials, better safety features, and a far nicer exterior. But it still lacks the 2.4-liter engine, which is why we'd argue against it too. To get that, you're going to have to go for the Limited XT, which is $3,000 more and is simply once again not worth it. The Touring, which costs $40,345, would be a far better option if you're up for a vehicle like the Limited, because for $2,500 more, you get Napa leather-trimmed upholstery, a leather-trimmed dashboard, 180-degree front view monitor, heated and ventilated front seats, and it is generally a fantastic family car. And although it might seem pricey, it is a good value for money compared to other $40,000 vehicles you can buy. But don't go for the 2.4, as you really don't need it if you're looking for a family-oriented vehicle.